Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Celebrate Columbus show, powered by Johnson Whitkemper Insurance Services. My name is Josh Burnett, and as you can see, we've got a great guest today. I'm so excited to get to talk with him again on Celebrate Columbus. It's a little bit of a selfish episode because I get to hang out with Dr. Roberts, but I also think that it's great for our community to hear what is going on with his work at Community Education Coalition and Project Quest. So without further ado, I know there's probably like one person in Columbus that doesn't know you, but just give us a little bit of background about who you are and what we're going to be talking about today.
Sure. Well, thanks, Josh. It's great to be on here with you. Celebrate Columbus has been a wonderful part of our community for a bit, and so glad to be a part of it. Jim Roberts, former superintendent of the Bartholomew Consolidated School Corporation, was in that role for 8 years and had a chance to really get acclimated to many different parts of this community. And for the last 2 years, well, at least will be 2 years in July, I've been with the Community Education Coalition, first as a vice president under Kathy Oren, who was the president after John Burnett, people that I think everybody in the community also knows. And then 6 months into that position, became president and CEO of the Community Education Coalition. For those who don't know what that might be, the Education Coalition, first of all, is located out on the Air Park College campus, Columbus College campus, where Purdue Polytechnic, Ivy Tech Community College, and IU Columbus are located, so on the Air Park. And we have our offices there at the Columbus Learning Center, a building that Purdue, IU Columbus, and Ivy Tech all also use, as well as we own the Advanced Manufacturing Center for Excellence, a second building there that we help manage, own that particular one, and also is used by the campuses or the institutions that are on that school or on that campus. Additionally, we serve 8 other organizations besides Purdue, IU Columbus, and Ivy Tech within the community, including BCSC, so I get to still work with the school corporation, which has been outstanding, as well as Flat Rock Hall Creek, City, County, Heritage Fund, CRH, Workforce Development, all those organizations we in one way or another officially work with and try to be backbone support to the initiatives that they're trying to drive forward and find a way to help them in any way we can.
That's awesome. And, I think that's so great for us, Columbus, to have Dr. Roberts still in our community. It's unique. We currently have Dr. Quick still here, as well as Dr. Roberts, and then obviously Dr. Phillips. But to have Dr. Roberts still very involved in the community, I think is great for us. So tell me a little bit about some of the exciting things that are going on with Community Education Coalition.
Sure. Well, Josh, first, it's great for me too, and my family, to be able to stay connected within the community. So blessed to be able to retire from a position that I really liked to move into another position that I really like, and I just love this community. The Education Coalition, again, as we work to support other organizations, we're involved in a little bit of everything right now, but probably the thing taking as much time as anything else is our work with the Air Park College campus. So we have an initiative called Air Park 2040, where we are working with the 3 post-secondary institutions on campus, as well as with our K through 12 partners, as well as with employers, to understand what that campus needs to be, look like, be doing over the next 15 years to benefit this community. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing to our work with the Education Coalition is to align education with the workforce. Mm-hmm. Within our region, so Bartholomew County, Columbus, Bartholomew County, and out, we look at really serving 8 counties, but again, starting there, Columbus, Bartholomew County, and out, those 8 counties defined geographically by the counties that IU Columbus, Purdue Polytechnic, and Ivy Tech, that they're recruiting from for their enrollment of students. So that's how we define our work. And within that work, then we try to understand the workforce needs. What do our employers in this area need? And are we producing that kind of employee, the person who is skilled in those different things that we need? We're obviously we have a lot of advanced manufacturing in our community, about as much as any other place in America.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons we built some years ago the Advanced Manufacturing Center for Excellence, and continue to pay attention to that, but we're looking at everything. So one of the research studies that we've done over the last year is marrying up what are the jobs that we have, and then with the educational completions, whether it's, and I'm thinking of post-secondary completion. So whether it's a certificate, a credential, an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, in those areas, what's needed? And then do we have a deficit or a surplus when it comes to those completions for those jobs? So we have that data, and that allows us on the Air Park and with this Air Park College Campus 2040 work is to try to understand what degree or certifications or credentials do we need to be producing either more of or add to our campus and be able to have more people graduating with those as they move on. Our metrics of measurement start with, first of all, we want to see early childhood and students who come into kindergarten prepared. So we have an early childhood piece. That's probably the second part that we are spending the most time on, is trying to look at the childcare situation, early learning situation within Bartholomew County specifically, and then trying to really work on the system itself, not just one part of it, but do we have people coming through Ivy Tech, for example, trained in early childhood education? Are those individuals, some of them may be going over to IU Columbus and getting trained in elementary education or something else in the education world. But as we feed that piece, do we even have enough places for them to go to work and to be providers for children with either early learning or child care? Do we have enough seats for families in our county to place a child in child care if they want that to be the case? If there is a seat, is it affordable? Is it high quality and affordable? So all of those things, we're looking at the entire system and trying to address that. So metrics, do we have kids prepared for kindergarten? Do we have kids able to read at third grade? Do we have kids who are graduating from high school? And then what are they doing after that? They may go straight into the world of work. They may come to our campus. Our campus, Ivy Tech, IU Columbus, Purdue Polytechnic, has the most attendees or enrollments of the class every year for BCSC. So if we look at the graduating class of BCSC, which will be about 900 kids, you take the percentage of kids who are leaving BCSC and going to post-secondary education, where are they going? The highest number of kids are going to our campus. So that's really important. So now once we get them on campus, we have enrollment, we have retention, and then eventually completion, and then getting to the next place, which is getting a high quality job in our area. Which is the third biggest thing that we're working on right now. Is we're working within this community with the team. We have a survey that's going out. So if you're paying attention to social media, the Community Education Coalition social media, IU Columbus, Purdue's, Ivy Tech's, they'll be putting it out there. Other team members getting this survey out. We're trying to understand what people think a high quality job is. That perspective might change based upon how old you are, what your family situation is, your life situation. Am I just now coming out of school? Have I been at work for 20 years? What are my needs maybe from an employer? But as an employee, we're trying to feed that information within the community so that we know, or at least have some feeling for who's getting a high quality job. So if we're going to say we're having this number of students graduate and we have this number of students getting a high quality job, how do you define that? Well, your definition might be different than mine. How do we set some criteria to that and at least have a working understanding as a community? So those are three really big things we're working on. The Air Park campus and trying to ensure that it is ready for the future. We're also working on early childhood, and then we are looking at that high quality job definition. Left one more out. There's some graduation rate changes that are occurring, and we're working with BCSC Flat Rock Hall Creek on that particular situation because students are freshmen now. So if you're listening to this and don't know this, and if you have kids that are coming up through freshmen right now, class of 2029, many of them will have to have work-based learning requirements and a certain number of hours of that in order to graduate from high school. So we're working with our schools to understand how many students are going to need those kind of hours and what is the capacity of our employers to grant those work-based learning hours, and how can our employers do that that's of benefit to them so they have a return on investment of putting time and effort into hosting a student for whatever number of time. It has to be in chunks of 25 hours at a time. It can be longer, but it has to be at least in chunks of 25. So that's keeping us busy, all of those particular things there right now, but it's a lot of fun working within the community on those kinds of things and supporting, again, the entities here in our community.
And it seems like a natural extension of the work that you've been, really your life's work, right?
I think so, yeah. It allows me to understand. I was in public education for 37 years, 17 of those as a superintendent. So I had a lot of opportunities to engage in the community in a lot of different ways. And moving into this position, I have that education perspective that I can bring to it. I'm learning a lot from our employers about what they really, really need. And I know I enlisted some help with that. I hired Brian Rushton last year, brought him in as our Director of Education and Workforce Alignment. Brian came to us from LHP, a very successful business person here with a very successful, important company in our community. So Brian has really helped with that, with getting that engagement with our employers, learning from them so they can help inform us so that we can then help our school system and our post-secondary institutions.
And it seems like, through that work, obviously you're going to make Columbus the best community
we want to be the
America,
best, right? Yeah. So whether it's as superintendent of BCSC and wanting us to be the best, and while I was superintendent there, I made this bold proclamation that we were the STEM capital of Indiana, and it's because we are. But we're looking to maybe somebody more objective than Jim Roberts can say that at some point in time. So hopefully we can get there. We're going to aspire to get there. Yeah. But there is another initiative that we're very involved in helping kind of create the structure so that we can all be intentional to being the best community in the country. And J. Irwin Miller, when opening golf course, Otter Creek Golf Course back in 1964, made the statement that these are the kinds of things you do to be the best community of our size, your size, in the country. And we've kind of moved past that. That was 1964. And we still talk about being a really good community. But what does that mean? Again, going back to that high quality job definition, it might mean one thing to you, might mean something a little bit different to me, but how can we all work together to create that, what you would think is a good community, I would think is a good community or best community? How can that be? So we've created the structure around doing that. Project Quest has 3 pillars tied to it. We're working on economic vitality, working on education and talent, and we're working on sense of place. It's a place that we want to be, but there's a foundation to those 3 pillars that's called community for all. How can we be a community that actually exists to serve every single one of us, not just a few, but every single one of us? And what does that take? More housing opportunities, more childcare opportunities. A lot of the things we've talked about, addressing the needs of the homeless and addressing the needs of those with substance misuse, whatever that might be. And then there's a civic leadership piece that all of us, regardless of title, job description, whatever those things are, we all should have a sense of civic responsibility and even leadership. So how can we each kind of take on that role? So we have teams that have been put together for each of the 3 pillars and the community for all. So 4 pillars. And we're also going to work on this side piece about what does it mean to have civic responsibility and civic leadership and get some additional feedback from the community. We've already had over 4,000 responses to the various things we've done, whether it's in a meeting, a public forum, it's one-to-one, it's a survey, whatever that's been, but we're still continuing to work on that because as I lead the team that we're working on specifically, myself and Cindy Fry are the co-conveners of the Education and Talent one. And so we have a team of 10, 11 others, so 13 of us around a table talking, but that's only 13 people. We have about 85,000 people in our community, and then we're going to reach out beyond that. So we need to get additional information about what does it mean to be the best in education and talent. Well, maybe that means we're the STEM capital of the world. So I just now went from STEM capital of Indiana to world. So I keep jumping. But again, with our background, that's a possibility. Yeah. Maybe we become known as the early learning or early childhood center of the country. That we have figured out the system. We are creating a system where if you want to go to work and you need childcare, it's available to you. Just a quick fact for our listeners is that there are 1,000 kids of any certain age at any one time in our county, full county, from here to Hope, and where it's public school, private school, charter schools, whatever the case might be. So we have about 1,000 kids born. In 2026, we will have about 1,000 kids entering kindergarten, whatever year, any particular year. So it's around that number. So as we think about that, if we have potentially, if we're going from 0 to 5, so 4, 5, 6,000 kids that are needing potentially, and it's going to be a percentage of that childcare, are we able to provide it? Capacity, high quality, affordable, and working at all those things. So I throw those couple of things out as we'll have this aspirations of these things are like game changers that help us be the best community. But then what might be some small wins to that? What maybe it is we have an employer that develops a co-share model where the employee is paying something, the employer is paying something. There is some state dollars, maybe with a voucher system that is paying something, and maybe there's even some other bucket somewhere community-wide that is helping with that, that's been created. Well, if that could be done in the next year or two, just that piece of somebody creating a more affordable model from a pilot standpoint would be a quicker win for us, and then move on from that. And then we do look at organizations and individuals with the Project Quest. Jim Roberts can be a better person every day. And if I think about kind of going back to this whole thing with Project Quest, of this intentionality of being the best and thinking about that and trying to align toward that, we were walking here a little bit ago. I saw you pick up a piece of paper, going across the sidewalk. There's a heck of a lot of us that would not bend over and pick up that piece of paper. That's one small thing of saying, this is my community, this is my town. We don't need litter, littering the streets of Columbus. Pick it up and put it in the trash can and we move on. How can each of us just aspire to be a little bit better every day, because by our being our best to ourselves, our families, our neighbors, our friends, our community members, that itself goes a long way to being the best community. How friendly are we? Are we the friendliest community, in the country? That seems like it'd be the best community. So we're working on a lot of things here, Josh. And Project Quest is another thing we're a part of with so many others in the community, and just looking forward to the entire community, we hope, finding a way to participate. It's not something that anybody's required to do. It's just, if you have this aspiration of this place that we live and work and call home, live, work, and play and call home, are you interested in being a little bit better than we are today? I hope so.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And Columbus, I think that's the reason why today I wanted to have Dr. Roberts to be able to talk about the things that are going on with CEC, Community Education Coalition, but also with Project Quest, because you're watching this, whether it's on your phone or on your desktop, iPad, whatever it is. And sometimes when you hear about these big initiatives, you think, well, that's not for me. Well, this one is for you. It's for all of us. And whether it's the small things we can do every day or to be a part of the big initiatives, I hope that you'll see that there is something for us to do to make Columbus the best it can be. And I think if we are the best that we can be, we will be the best community in America, because we have such a great legacy and history in our community. But at some point, we always need to celebrate that, but we're looking towards the future.
Yes.
Because things are changing all the time, and if we want to be the best, we've got to grow and get better each day. Yeah. So
and our kids are relying on the rest of us as adults to be the best that we can be, and then if we can lead by example, they will also be really good for us in the future.
Amen to that. Well, Columbus, thank you so much for checking out this episode with Dr. Roberts. I hope that you've enjoyed it. You've learned a little bit more about CEC and Quest. We'll see you next time.